welcome to Thrivecast podcast, where we talk about success and what it means to different people on the internet. Today, I'm here with Taylor Ryan. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So excited to talk today because you have a really unique story and because you're also doing kind of like similar stuff to me. So I feel like we can really relate on those types of things, and hopefully the audience will be able to find some interest in your content as well. Because I think not only do you obviously do this type of content for the gays, but you also do, or like not the gays, but you know what I mean, like the visual gays. But also for like other creators that want to learn. So I'm excited to talk to you about that. So let's get into kind of like your journey and like where you started, and then we'll go even further back into your, upbringing and all of that. But I kind of want to know just how you started in the industry first.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I was doing kind of like glamour modeling when I was 18. Like as soon as I turned 18, I was literally just like top off, tits out, like here we go, here I am. But like I've always been a performer. Like ever since I was in school, like I was that bitch that was on like the stage. Like I was like doing like dance classes, singing. Like I was such a little performer, and attention whore. So it just seemed right.
It's the perfect fit.
It just was. It was just meant for me. But no, I've always loved this sort of stuff. I grew up watching the girls of the Playboy Mansion. I entered like a calendar competition with other girls, and it was to basically win like a month in a calendar, and it was all like underwear, sexy, seductive, and like I got through in that. The people that I met through the calendar, they introduced me to OnlyFans, and then it kind of just went on from there. But yeah, I've always been interested in all of it, and I've always been a free spirit.
I've always been a free spirit too. Wait, so the girls from the calendar introduced you, and were you like automatically like, oh my god, yes, let's do it? Or were you kind of like, what is this? Let me like dip my toes. Like, what was your kind of instant reaction to it?
No, that's actually exactly it. So like when they showed me it, I was like, what the hell is this? And one of them was just touch my boobs. Like I'll just video and you just touch my boobs. And I'm gonna sell that. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I touch your boobs anyway. Let me touch your boobs. She videoed it. She sold it, and I was like, that was pretty cool. But then I had a partner at the time, and I was like, I have discovered OnlyFans. Like, is this something that like I could explore, kind of thing? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, honey, I wasn't like asking. I was more just like getting I was getting a vibe from you, like, don't worry about it. And then I broke up with him like a few months later, and then I started pretty much straight away. So yeah, I dipped my toe.
You are not stopping me. You're like, nope, I'm doing what I want to do.
Oh, all the time. Yeah, I am. Yeah, that has been me since the day I was born.
That's kind of how I am too. I feel like I totally relate to like your whole vibe and everything. Like when I was looking through all your stuff, I'm like, okay, we're very similar. I guess it makes sense. We're in the same industry.
For sure. Yeah, and we do like the same thing. Like we teach and we're in the same industry. I got the same vibe from you when I was watching your podcast. I was like, okay, I'm excited for this.
Yes. Okay, so let's go back a little bit then, because you kind of said like you grew up watching this and like seeing it. What was your like upbringing like? Did you ever have like sort of like a stigma against the industry, or were your parents a certain way about it or thought a certain way about it? What was your upbringing like? Or the people around you, those types of things? Friendships?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really have like an influence within like the industry or like growing up. My childhood was like, I mean, not to like do like a whole woe is me situation, but like it wasn't great. Like my childhood wasn't great. From a broken home, like a lot of people are. Like emotional, like child abuse, like all that sort of stuff. So from that perspective, like I didn't have that type of influence coming in. However, I did have the influence of like, I don't give a fuck what people think of me. Like my mum growing up was very much that type of person. So she didn't care what people thought of her. So I kind of adapted that interpreted that in my own way. She like won this competition to do an underwear shoot, and I saw her do that underwear shoot, and loads of kids in school were like kind of picking on me and being like, haha, look at this picture of your mum in underwear. And I brought it into school. I brought the leaflet into school and I was like, look at my mum. Like, she looks
Yes.
sexy as shit, kind of thing. I'm in high
Yeah.
school at this point and I'm like proud because I couldn't get it into my head that like that was a problem. Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't get the
I
problem.
mean, it's not a problem. I think that that's actually influence in itself, like that she was comfortable in her body and like
Mm.
doing this, you know, competition and everything. That is good. That's actually positive influence that like you can do whatever you want. It's your body. And I think that was probably a huge influence into like how you are today.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
completely. Yeah. I mean, like, as it's gone on, and like as I got older and found myself and found my own womanhood and livelihood and all the rest of it, like the judgment like started like kind of getting there. My parents
Yeah.
weren't like she hasn't been like supportive in the way of you go girl, you go get it kind of thing. It was more just like, well, it's okay that I did it, but like what the fuck are you doing? Kind of thing.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah, like that's how it kind of turned into. But that influence was definitely there at the beginning, and like that's what
Yeah.
like gave me a lot of confidence.
I wonder why there was like these two sides of her where it was like it was okay for her, but now seeing you do it, it's not okay.
Yeah,
Do you guys have kind of like an estranged relationship now?
yeah. I think it was very much a do as I say, not as I do kind of like relationship. But yeah, we don't really have like the best relationship now.
Mm,
It
that
happens.
is a bummer. I
Yeah.
wonder, is it because of what you're doing now, or is it like just
No.
from the past, like a lot of history going on?
Yeah, a lot of history. Like there's like a lot of things that I can't really go into because it doesn't just affect me.
Yeah,
It like I'm not an only sibling or like an only child. Like I have a lot of brothers and sisters. And because they're still within her influence and still in her home, like there's a lot of things that I can't really talk about because I
yeah,
care more about them
them.
and it affecting them in the short term than it would be for me to like release it and just feel good about the fact that I can finally talk about my experiences. Like I'm not
Yeah.
there yet. But yeah,
How
we don't
many
really
brothers
have
and
that.
sisters do you have?
So I'm one of seven. Grew up with like all eight of us in the house, including my
Yeah.
mum. But like with my who I actually grew up with, including Step, I'm one of nine.
Oh my gosh, that's so many.
It's a
What
lot.
was it like growing up in like such a big family? My family was really small and my best friend's family was really really big and they were always together and it was like this honestly like a party every single time everyone was
Yeah.
there. So I always imagined like a huge family like that. What was it like having that big of a family?
I mean, it was. There was aspects growing up where it was like great because like you were like kind of all in this together, or like you were kind of in it with some of them and not others. So like you always kind of had someone
Right.
there. Like me and my sister, like we used to have sleepovers in our room that we shared anyway because I never had my own room on the
Aw.
floor because it was like different. Like it was like, oh my god, should we have
Yeah.
a sleepover on the floor? It's like we've got
Like put all the pillows
perfectly
on the
good,
floor.
yeah, we've got like perfectly good mattresses, and we've just put this duvet on the floor, and we're sleeping on this like hard ass fucking carpet because it was fun. So like stuff like that was really good, and I'm still best friends with my sister now. However, like it was a lot. Like there was a lot of
Yeah.
fighting and disagreements, and
Just a lot
yeah,
going on at all times.
families aren't like all they're cracked up to be if people have like strong opinions all the time.
Right. So you and your sister though that you shared a room with, you two are very close. Does she know what you do and like is she supportive of your career?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like I love her so much. And I've got my other younger sister who's still like in school, like young as well. She knows what I do and like she
Yeah.
supports it as well. But yeah, the one that I shared the room with the majority of the time, she's amazing.
What was that conversation like when you told her that this was what you were doing? Was it like a sit down conversation like, "Hey, I got to tell you something," or was it kind of like, "Hey, here it is."
Well, yeah, the latter. Like, I'm not a very serious person. Like, I wouldn't sit down and have this conversation with someone because in my head, and whether this is right or whether this is wrong, like, I feel like this is definitely down to your situation and your own
Yeah.
opinions. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the industry, so I wouldn't sit down and have that conversation with anyone. The same way you wouldn't
Yeah.
be like, by the way, guys, everyone sit down. I'm starting a job at Starbucks. Like, you just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I just didn't think it was really necessary. And also, with the type of person that I am, I don't really think it was a shock.
Okay, we're too similar. I did not have this conversation with like anyone. I kind of like just mentioned it to my sister or whatever, and then I just assumed everyone else would find out when they find out.
That's what
And
happened.
yeah, but then my mom like told my sister like, "Oh, I wish Alanah would like come to me and tell me." So then I had to go and like have a
Make it a
conversation
thing.
with her, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "There's nothing to say."
Yeah,
Like,
you're like, what are we even talking about right now? Like, I've started a new like job, like my salary. Like,
yeah.
what do you want to know? Like,
So let's kind of jump into the job a little bit more. Like we talked about, you're doing this for the fans, but then also for creators. So for the creators, how did you get into that world? Because I think that that's not something that we've talked about on the podcast yet. Because no one
mm.
else has been kind of in that. I mean, I guess maybe Marie D, but other than her, like we haven't really talked about it much. So how did you get into also helping other creators?
So, you know, the referral process on
Yeah.
OnlyFans. So, when I was about a year and a half in, because I've been doing it for since 2018, so almost 6 years. Um, when they had the referral system, like I would basically have people come to me and be like, "I really need your help," and I'm like, "I would absolutely love to help you. Like, obviously, this is really time consuming. Sign up with my referral, and like I'll do everything for free because obviously you would get 5% of their 20% that OnlyFans would take." So I was doing it that way. So they weren't losing any money, and anything I taught them, they were just gaining. And then it got
Yeah.
to the point where it was like, wow, this is getting busier. I'm really good at what I do. Like, I'm helping creators make 20 grand a month. And I'm like, I'm kind of losing out on my earnings because I'm spending so much time doing this. How can I reach a
Mhm.
wider audience? And then I was having this conversation one day with a photographer that I used to work with, and it just kept on spiraling and spiraling. And I was like, oh, an online course, like an online fucking course. And
Yeah.
then it spiraled from there. And then I gambled my mortgage savings into the company to build it. I spent so much money to make it work, and now I am where I am with it, and it's growing. It's hard, but it's growing.
Yay! I always find like the story and like the journey so interesting because it's not really like what we're doing that matters so much. It's like how we took the steps to get there. And I think that that's what so many creators like watching these are really interested in. So, can you give us a little bit of like what got you to say like the 20K a month or these big milestones? What got you to those things? What were the steps kind of that you took?
For like me personally as a creator,
Mhm.
yeah, I would say, well, I mean, the consistency is obvious. Like, you're going to hear anyone that's ever been any type of success say the same thing is consistency is key. But my actual opinion on that is knowledge is key. So I did the things that I did, realized that they weren't working, and so quickly discovered that this is a business. What I'm doing right now is selling a product. I stopped looking at it as being a sex worker or being in the porn industry because, like, that's a given. Yeah, like the product is that. However, how do companies get successful? How are they selling toothpastes, biscuits, fucking toothbrushes? Like, what do? They market, they trial and error. So as soon as I realized that, I bought an online course in social media marketing. I started figuring out how to really use the platforms that we use today. And I just absolutely filled my brain with all of that. And then I implemented it into my model, my strategy of becoming a big creator. But yeah, the first step was really treating it like a
Learning.
business. Yeah.
Yeah, and treating it like a business. That's something I always tell people is like, you imagine it to be, and in the beginning, I think it was like you could just put a few photos up there and be like, oh, let me make some money here.
Yeah.
But now it's like you really have to see it as a business and put
hmm
in the work that you would any other business. And so many people kind of like don't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always try to push that as much as I possibly can. Oh, wait, so tell us what are some of your tips for marketing and yourself? Like, what social medias are you using? What sort of like techniques or strategies can you share with us today?
Yeah, so the first thing that I tell creators and the first thing that I kind of discovered within myself was what makes me different. What's the USP, the unique selling point? Like what is that going to be for my brand? Because once you discover that for yourself, you're going to be able to really focus your creativity around the content that you make, that you're going to get out to the audience that you actually want to attract. So if you're a dominatrix, you shouldn't be doing all these like girly summer dresses. Like obviously if your niche kind of like can switch, then fine, that's your niche. However, if you're going straight into one thing, you need to make sure that you're discovering that for yourself and then creating the content that kind of matches it. When I first started, we didn't have TikTok, or we did, but it was like Musically, and it wasn't something that I
Yeah.
used. But Instagram was really good for organic reach, and it was really good for attracting an audience. So I was using Instagram, I was using Twitter, Snapchat. The platforms that are still going today is what I was utilizing. And as more and new platforms came out, I was not ignorant to that. I wasn't like, oh no, new technology, I'm not learning it. Like I get that and I don't want to do it, but I did do
Yeah.
it. And then when TikTok started to become an organic platform, I was like, right, let's learn that. And now for the last 4 years of my career, I've been smashing out TikTok, and that's had a massive like impact in what I do. If my
I
accounts
was
wouldn't keep
watching
on
some
getting
of them.
deleted, then I'd have a bigger account, but they keep on
Uh,
getting deleted.
you have a great size account. It has like 400,000 or something, right?
Yeah, that's only within like the last year, because I've had to
Wow.
rebuild like again. But yeah,
Uh,
thank you, I appreciate that. But like that's a
yeah.
perfect example, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
me saying like, oh yeah, 400,000 for God's sake, but it's organic. Like that's sick. That's so cool.
And the fact that that was like a rebuild. Like that
Yeah,
just shows like if you're learning and putting in whatever you learn, you can get to where you want to be over and
oh,
over and over again, even
absolutely.
with a rebuild.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
how would you describe success? Like, what is success to you at this point? Because for a lot of people, it's different things, and I want to see from your perspective because I would say you're very successful, but what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I would say success was money, like everyone else did. And that is the way that people still to this day measure success. But to
Mhm.
me, success isn't about money anymore, because I got to that milestone and then I got to my next money milestone and then I was like, wait, why am I like not fulfilled right now? Like, why have I made so much more money than when I first started and I still think the same? And that's because I was measuring my success wrong. Now
Mm.
I'm like, my fridge is full whenever I need it to be. I can book an Airbnb, a hotel, a holiday whenever I need to. If I need to help any of my family or friends with anything, I can drop everything like that, cancel it. There's no holiday forms to fill in, and I'll go and I
Mhm.
will be there for that person. To me, that success is that absolute undeniable freedom of the job.
Yeah.
Obviously, that doesn't include like the commitments that you can't leave, but again, those commitments are really just opportunities that you just may miss. So yeah, my type of success is not money anymore.
It's definitely like a privilege to get to that place, but I think that is like something that once you get to and you realize what really, really is important. And honestly, it's like, how do you realize that when you maybe don't make as much money? Like, how can you balance both almost? Where you, yes, success can be getting to that point where it is freedom, but also how can you be in living in the present and realize like you have your needs fulfilled and that can be success too. I think for me, it was a balancing act to get to that point too, where I'm like,
Mm.
okay, yeah, I can have all these money goals, and I still do.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Always, they never go.
but like you said, like your stomach is full. You have a roof over your head. You can see your family whenever you want. And so I'm constantly like reminding myself of those things, even though sometimes the money gets in the way too. Like it does
Yeah,
cloud your vision a little bit.
yeah,
But I always said when I first started, my actual goal, like it's always been this, is to have freedom of my time so that I can spend time with like the people that I love and care about. Like that's always been the goal, even though money's like sometimes on the back of
yeah,
my mind.
yeah, of course. And like that's the thing as well. Like I think people always are going to associate success with money, and like I would absolutely be ignorant right now to not say like that is obviously everyone's ultimate goal. And the reason
Yeah.
why my success is measured differently now is because of money.
It's because you reach that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've still taken 6 years of just OnlyFans plus the other three of just the grafting, the building the account, starting from nothing to getting to where I am to be able to say that. But my vision and my opinion has changed throughout the years. If you're someone that still works a full-time job and then you're making that little bit extra from your OnlyFans, you're already more successful than you were the day before and the month before than when you first started. So Yeah, I
And
think it is.
even getting that little bit of freedom, like you said, like say you are working a full-time job and then maybe you can cut that down to like part-time because of the work that you're doing on the side. Like that little bit of freedom is success.
Yeah,
Like that little bit of time that you get to spend more with your family or like whatever, that is success. I love that. That's like something that I really care about. So
yeah.
again, we're similar in that
We
way.
just we are the same. We are the same.
We're the same. Oh, if only we weren't so far away.
I know. When's your birthday? What star sign are you?
February February 7th, I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, that makes no. I don't know why I asked because I don't know. I just know that I'm a Scorpio. The 7th of November, though. The 7th.
Oh, seven.
We're
Our
connected
lucky
somewhere.
number.
Yeah, I know
Some
nothing about
similarities
any of
there.
it.
I don't know anything about star signs. What
No.
kind of hobbies are you into? That's kind of something fun to talk about.
Yeah, I mean dog training, like gun dog training. I love doing that with my golden retriever. We've
Wait,
started
dog
this.
training?
Yeah, gun dog training.
What is that?
It's just a different type of strict training for your
Okay.
dog, and my dog is a gun dog breed, because he's a golden
Oh,
retriever. So yeah, I really enjoy. I love doing gun dog training. It's so fun.
that is the most random hobby I've ever heard.
Yeah, you know what? When I think about it, I'm like, right, sex worker talking about being a boss ass bitch. Like, I should be into like fucking. I don't even know. Like,
I don't even know.
I don't even know. And then I'm like, I love gun dog training.
I've never heard of that. I've never heard anyone say that that was their hobby, but I love that. How often are you doing that?
So it's every week, and every
Okay.
other week I go to the trainer, and then we learn something new, and then it's a
I don't know
lot.
why, but this just sparked a question about like your work again. What would you say like your niche is or like your brand?
So when I first started, this is so ridiculous. But when I first started, it was Girl Next Door, and the reason why it
Okay.
was able to be is because like no one was doing OnlyFans, so it was like easy to be the girl
Yeah.
next door. Now, when the reason why I'm laughing because now when you say that, it's like yeah, along with the next, like bitch, what's your niche? Like, what are you doing? So now it's like more about brand building and
Yeah.
like being more of a personality, like charismatic and just like confident. That's now my niche, which is mental to say
Okay.
because how is that a niche? But it's true, isn't it? Like that is just that's how it goes. So yeah.
Yeah. I always tell like my students too, if they don't know like what their niche is, just think about who you are as a person, like share your personality, whether like that's your style of humor or like whatever it is. And I could see your personality in your content when I was looking through your TikToks. I get what you mean by that. Like whoever's watching this, go through her TikToks and you'll see like the personality coming through. And I feel like maybe it is girl next door still, but you can just see like what makes you you, like what makes you special and different from anybody
Thanks.
else.
Oh my god,
So
I'm blushing.
definitely. Oh,
Thank you.
over here flirting.
What
Just
the
kidding.
hell? Oh my god, I'm so in love right now.
So, are you doing like lives or anything like that on any of your social platforms? Because I know lives are just becoming so big right now. Do you think that that's helped any of your business, or have you tried doing it yet?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm laughing again because this is exactly what I teach. And I'm like, get on lives. These are incredible. And I know that they are because I've previously done them. However, if you're asking me today, on this date, at this time, I haven't been on a live in like a couple of months. And like, and that's because like I'm so busy with like actually running the businesses and like building
Yeah.
my brand that even though lives are part of that and again is what we teach, I'm not on it, but I would recommend it. So from my experience of doing lives, absolutely, like absolutely, they are so good for building, they're so good for creating a following, really good to engage with your audience. Yeah, they're amazing to do. It's just
Share your
funny because
personality.
yeah, 100%. I just can't believe I'm saying that. And I'm like, I haven't been on one for like 2 months. However,
I think I heard someone saying this the other day that I was talking to. I don't know who said it, or maybe I heard it like on somewhere. Don't know where I got this from, but It's not my saying. But basically the teachers, like, say like you're studying to be a doctor, the teachers aren't actually performing any doctor stuff, but they
Yeah.
are still teaching. So it's okay that we're not,
Yeah.
sometimes doing the things that we teach, but we just have like done the research. It's like the learning that we've found, and then we share the findings,
No,
right?
and it's
So
so true. It is so true because, like,
yeah,
I will get people combat me all the time and they'll be like
yeah,
hammering me for my earnings. I'm like, bitch, don't worry about my bank. Like, I'm doing good. However, I am teaching people that are making 2 times, 3 times the amount that I'm making. But still, what I'm telling them to do is making them more money. Because that's just how it works. Like, if we've got the
mhm,
knowledge and we are implementing it ourselves and it's working, and it just so happens to work better for someone else who's making 10 times what we are, doesn't mean that
yeah.
it's wrong that we're not doing that. Like, it's okay for us to teach you and not do those things.
I think it's because like we're doing like the research part of it. And so a lot of my time honestly is taken up by like learning, like
Yeah,
you said. And
100%.
so then I don't always have the time to like implement
Yeah.
everything that I learned. But
Yeah.
like I can't think about doing that right now. I need to just share this.
Yeah, like
you
I
know?
am so tired. I'm gonna write a post about this and get everyone else to do it, and I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah. Cause one thing that I always teach too is like that consistency, but even on like OnlyFans or on Slushy, like posting consistently, I like now I have like a fan base that really like trusts me, and so they are there, they'll stay with me even if I'm not as consistent. So someone will be like, oh, but you haven't been posting consistently. Girl, I can't, but I'm telling you, you should.
Yeah, like don't worry about my fans. Like, they know me now. Like,
They
we've
trust me now.
we've
Yeah.
got rebuilt on. Like, they know that they're
Yeah.
gonna get good shit when they get it. But, like,
Yeah.
please just don't look at what I'm doing.
Yeah. Because someone like literally brought that to my attention. I was like, I know.
Yeah.
Just do what I'm saying and it will work. I
Why?
just can't.
Why are you attacking me? Just shut up.
So, okay, so let's talk about what it's like within your friend groups now and like the people that you know now. Now that you're in this, I know when I first started, like you said, you're like, you were open book. You're like, I'm not gonna not tell people. And I'm sort of the same way. I'm like, whatever, like some people will know, some people won't know. But I remember in the beginning, a lot of people would straight up tell me, like, ooh, that's gross. Like, why would you do that?
Bye.
I bet. Are you serious? Now I don't get that at all. People are like, "Oh, this is cool what you're doing." Like, they see it a little bit more, and maybe like the stigma has changed a little bit. But have you had any of that type of I don't know,
Like,
like
negativity.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, my friendship group, and well, not like group, like, that's like a more recent thing within the last like 4 years because of like a birthday party I had, whatever. But, like, the friends that I've like had since
yeah,
college have stayed my friends because they don't give a fuck. Like, because the
yeah,
type of people that I surround myself with are the people that are like me and like me.
mhm,
So they wouldn't really give a shit about that. However, of course, I've had people be like, like, why are you doing this? Like, oh, that's really interesting that you would start that. I'm like, oh my god, I love that word. I love that you've used that word. Like, tell me
it's
more.
so interesting.
Yeah, tell me fucking more. What do you mean? I've had people do that, and then in recent years, it's like, oh, I love what you do. You're so inspiring. It's like, yeah, because you see me doing good, bitch. Like, you're not.
Mhm.
There's no sincerity there. Like, I don't care that you see that I'm doing
Yeah,
good and you're proud of me. Like, cheers.
yeah. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
So most people have been I try to surround myself with people that are, good as well and are okay with whatever I do. And
Mhm.
yeah, I surround myself with the same type of people. Oh my god, it sparked another question I was gonna ask. Sometimes there's a lot of negativity online. So if there's not in your personal life, which is great, do you ever get any of that negativity online and how do you deal with it?
Oh my god. When I first started, like, people are just trolls. However, because of my upbringing and like the child abuse, and I was bullied every year throughout school. When it
Ugh.
came to this, when someone would call me four eyes, take the piss out of my teeth, take the piss out of the fact that my eye turns in because I've got a bit of a wang eye, it just rolled off my back. I'm literally just like, oh, like, you just thought of
So
that one
cute.
now. Did you think of that in your head? Like, what did you Google that? Like, I just don't care. So I know it's
Yeah.
not that helpful to people to like kind of be that way because everyone's always looking for advice. But my advice on that, even though I'm already someone that thinks the way that I do, is just to remember, like, these people, not even people, these fucking things, they don't pay your bills. Like, they don't pay for shit. And it's a really old quote now, and like, it's so well known, and this is so cliche, but the quote of like, lions don't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep, that stuck with me the day that I heard it years ago,
Yeah.
and I just cannot unhear it. So anyone that kind of gets scared about hate or people being nasty, like, just remember that. Like, why would you
Yeah.
care? Like, they are not part of your life.
I actually just got very much the same about how I think about negativity, but I got these comments on my YouTube video from the same person on like a bunch of my YouTube videos. And it was all this negative stuff like, ew, so disgusting, you'll never find love, even though I'm married.
Yeah, like,
All
lol.
these things. Yeah, I'm like, okay. Like all these crazy things. And then I just responded, thank you so much for watching all of my YouTube videos. Like, like, thank you so much.
That was
And
like
commenting,
8 hours of your
engagement.
day. Like, honestly, you are the one for me.
Yes. And I was like, even if you didn't watch all of them, you clicked on so many
Yeah.
of my videos and took the time to type something out. Like, engagement is going up. Like, thank you so much. I like love the hate.
That's my
So
favorite.
hopefully
That's
they
my
got
favorite
that comment
comeback.
and they enjoyed it.
Yeah, 100. They would have been seething. They would have been frothing from their mouth. Like, that would have wound them up so bad. That's my
Literally.
favorite sport. Like, when you ask me for my hobby, it's that's my hobby. I changed my answer.
Yes.
That's it.
Just making the trolls get so angry
Oh God.
by
Well,
like not caring.
no, just not giving like the sarcasm, like or agreeing. Oh, that was one of the things that I used to do. If someone was like, "You're so fucking ugly," I'd be like, "Right." Like,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Can you believe I do that? Can you believe people pay me? Like, genuinely, can you believe it? And they'd be like, well, no, I can't. It's like, I know,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
They don't even know how to respond at that point. They're like, ugh, gotta go troll somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this bitch.
I know we talked about what your best kind of tips are for a newer creator because we kind of talked about like a little bit of the marketing side of things and like how you were able to create success on here. But if there is something that you could say to someone brand new and maybe it's something like not so detailed about the marketing, maybe it's something simple when they're actually just getting started. Like say they don't have a profile yet, they want to get started, where would you guide them into?
Yeah, I have the answer to this one, and I say it a lot, and this probably doesn't help my business. This will definitely lose me money, and a lot of people won't like it. But my first question to someone that's not started yet and asks me for help is why. It's why do you want to get into the industry? I make them question themselves and what about the industry is it that they want to be in, and are they ready to change their career? I always ask if you're ready to change your career, not get into something and trial something. It's, are you okay with leaks? Because whether you like it or not, there's going to be some time where it happens and that shit sucks. However, it happens. And I
Mhm.
always ask those questions. So the way that I actually guide them is by make them question themselves. And if they come back to me and they're like, Taylor, babe, like, can you just stop? Like, I'm in it to win it. I'm like, girl, come on board. Like, let's fucking do this
Yeah.
together. And if they're like, no, that's a really good point. I want to be anonymous because I don't want my mum to know or my siblings or my kids to know. I'm literally just like, quit. Like, don't do it because you're putting yourself in danger and these are not good
Mhm.
reasons to start. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually the first thing I do is completely deter them
That is
away.
amazing. I think that, like you kind of mentioned, it is not for everybody. This is not a career for everyone.
No way.
And yeah, if you are so concerned about too many things, and if there's a few concerns, like, okay, but if this is something that like completely terrifies you, and for some reason you, you want to get into it, but you want to hide this, you want to hide that, you want to keep this and, everything wrapped up, you won't be able to blow your shit up, and
Yeah.
that's what you have to do to make the money. So I totally think you're right. It's literally just not for everybody. And that's
No.
something,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a tip no one has said on the podcast yet.
I'm so fair as well. Like I'm not like this witch, like this like really like angry or nasty person. Like I'm fair and I'll listen to them, but like I care more about them and their future than I care about them paying £550 for my course. Like, keep your money. Keep your money. Like, you actually
Yeah.
don't want to do this as a job. I'm not going to help you, because you're going to put yourself
Yeah.
in a really shit situation at some point down the line, and I really don't want anything to do with that. I really want to help you grow and glow, but
Yeah.
you might not be that person that does that. So yeah.
And I find that a lot of people do, I mean, just like any business, honestly, if you think about it like that, most businesses fail. So if you're not like 1,000% committed to your business, whatever that is, and the reason why things fail, in my opinion, is because you quit. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Like, even if you have like a restaurant and it's like doing really shitty, the reason why it fails is because you close it and you don't put in the marketing to like get it out there. You know what I mean? Like, you can make anything work, I think, but the only way you can fail is if you quit. And so most businesses fail, and you have to keep that in mind too. Like, if you're going to end up giving up, why put your content on the internet? You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, like if you're coming to me and you've been doing it for 2 months, and you're like, Taylor, I'm still not growing, I'm still not making the money. It's like, what money? Like, what
Yeah.
money? Like, no one knows who the fuck you are yet. Like, just chill.
Yeah.
Like, unless you blew up overnight,
Yeah.
like, bitch, like, you're probably going to be scraping the barrel. That's so fine. Like, that is
Mhm.
absolutely the process. It's when people get to that
Yeah.
point where they're like, I've been doing it for 2, 3, 4 months, and they're not seeing anything, they
Yeah.
quit. They stop being consistent. You have to
Mhm.
work at the times where you're making nothing and getting no views and seeing no results, because like those are the
Mhm.
days where you end up making the money. Like, you don't realize it at the
Yeah.
time.
Those are the times when you kind of like can look back at your content and realize what's not working
Mm-hmm.
and how you can adjust. Kind of like how you said, like you had to figure out what was going to work and what wasn't working and making those adjustments, because you said you learned, but then you also had to make adjustments within your stuff that helped you keep moving forward. So I think even if something's not working out for honestly months, you can at least, you have all this content now that you can look at
Yeah,
and
yeah.
realize why.
Everything's data.
um
Everything is data.
yeah.
You can put everything into analytics. And if you can like take that and learn from
Mhm.
yourself, like, you are so much further ahead than anyone that's already somewhat successful. Because like, if you're the type of person that can do that, like, girl, like, I am buzzing.
Right.
I am buzzing for you.
My favorite part about this, like about talking to people and making YouTube videos and everything, is just like girls helping girls. Do you find that the industry has been girls helping girls for you? Because on the outside, I never thought this industry would be like women coming together. I thought it'd be kind of like a cat fight. Do you feel like, from your perspective, that it's been more catty, or has it been, good connections and stuff?
Oh my god, it's been incredible. Like, I honestly, from an outside looking in, like, I understand. Like, wow, it's like a industry with like a fucking load of females, but like, that shit, when we're against everyone else in the world, like when we are against just anyone that wants to shut us down, girls, we really do get together. I'm sure that there is cattiness. Like, in fact, I know that there's cattiness, but from like my
Mhm.
experiences, like, some of the better people that I've met in my life are creators, and the
Yeah.
collabs that I've done, like, I always say to the creators that I train, and anyone on social media actually, is like, we're not in competition. There is no
No.
competition. Like, I do collabs with people that either look similar to me, or maybe somewhat in the same niche, or my fans might actually like their content better than mine. But that is fine, because at the end of the day, like, all we're doing is building each other's platform, making new
Hmm.
content, and exposing ourselves to new subscribers. So I never see it as
Yeah.
competition, like, ever. I think the industry is so fun for that.
I've been finding the same thing. Like, I don't do any collabs. I do only solo content. But as far as like all the creators I talk to, and even the ones that I don't really talk to that are just on social media, maybe we like comment on each other's stuff or whatever, I just find that everyone, like you said, when the world is against us, like we can kind of bond together because we have those similarities, and because we're like the outsiders or whatever. I feel like it is getting more normalized and
Yeah.
destigmatized, but I think for the most part, still, like it does have a little bit of a stigma still. And being able to like stick together with other creators has been such a like rewarding part of the job, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, okay, let's wrap it up, and you can shout out any of your things now. Let us know what's new, what's coming up, and where to find you. All of that will also be linked down below. Go ahead.
Oh my god, okay. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I was able to get onto this podcast is because throughout my whole career that's still building and still going. I was headhunted to be the head of creators for a wishlist platform called UPay, and they are incredible. So at the moment, what I've got coming up is a load of cool shit with them, which I blog. So if anyone wants to like kind of follow that journey, like get to know UPay, get to know what my job role actually is within the company. Yeah, I actually have a real job now. um, then
Same.
yeah, oh my god, look at us. Look at us, employed girls. It's upay.co/Taylor. And then obviously like for any like help, tips and tricks, of course, there is you, and also there is me, and it's sxcreators.com. You can find me at _lifeoftaylor, and everything else will be in my link in bio, all of my other social medias and anything else that you want to find out about me.
Amazing. So that'll be all linked down below. Thank you so much for coming on. It has been such a good conversation. I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like everyone else is going to learn so much. And I love that you shared a lot of your story. I know there's probably so much more to you. So definitely go and follow. Go follow Taylor, and it'll be really awesome. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.